Hello, welcome to True Crime and Justice. I've got my granddaughter sitting by the side of me. You can probably hear her in the background.
Yeah, what that is.
Right, so she's just curious. She's looking at my screen. Yeah. Right, so if you hear any screams and F's and whatever going off in the background, it's my son and daughter-in-law and her mother moving stuff out.
Yeah.
There've been a few F's already, fecking, bloody, and all this lot already tonight.
There's been more than a few.
And that was just off me. Right? So I helped move the sofa, which is a bed settee, and it's heavy as feck. The scratched paint off my living room door. Ugh. Right? We've managed to get out the front door, then we're carrying it along to her house, and then we're trying to get in her front door, and I'm trying to loosen this leg of her sofa so we could get the sofa through. There's someone from the inside of the hallway pulls the sofa, and what does it do? Trap my finger. So a few F's and whatever was going off then. Right, and then we pulling the sofa back out, and my son got hurt. He said, "Was that you, Mum? Payback?" I went, "Yeah, payback's sweet, isn't it?" But after moving that sofa, I said, "That's it. I can't do no more. I really can't move no more. Maybe tomorrow I can help." I did take the air fryer round. I did carry that round for them. But perhaps tomorrow I can help him move some more stuff. We still didn't get the keys to her place till about 5:30 tonight. Taking a bleeding piss of work, bringing the keys round to her. All day they've had them keys and not one, and they didn't bring them round till 5:30 tonight. This is in the background. It's just, I knew it's just my son's mother-in-law, Angie, my housemate, that is now moving out, and my two grandkids. Want me to say hello? Say hello.
How do I get the blue cube?
It's alright. So, hold on, I've just got to go and shut the back door as I go out. Because my cats have already escaped once.
They're just coming for the headboard and then that's it.
Yeah.
I'm looking for it. I can't. I want to give you room how good it is. I will give you room in your new home. Okay.
Yeah, against the wall. And
Can they get?
yeah, because if you have it in front of the window, you're not going to have any space for the unit or anything. Right.
This is heavy.
Yeah. I think I'm not eating.
Oh, Jesus.
Don't take the bag as well. Just take one.
I need that as well. So
Yeah, leave that there. That'll be fine. We'll take the bag first and then come back with the unit. Okay? Right. He's gone now, right? Because she's only moved 2 houses up the road from me, right? And the guy, she gave her the keys this morning, did 5 tonight. So we've managed to get a bed sofa took over, her bed. I think it's just a headboard now they're taking. Then the rest they're going to leave till tomorrow. Hi, Anne. So, but I thought, look, I moved that bed and that was heavy. And there's like me, Tracy, and Simon at first carrying it. Then we got Angie to come out to help us. And we could not get in her door. We finally did. After a bit of cursing and a bit of F's and B's and whatever, we finally got it moved. And there's a big plant in her front garden, which I want. and I've been told I can have. But it's in a big wooden pot. How the fuck I'm going to move this fucker, I do not know. I don't know. Mr. Company, no I won't, because she was hardly ever here, and when she was in her bedroom. And if she had a day off, she'd be over at her daughter's, so I never really saw much of her anyway. So, but hold on, I've just got to take it because I could cry. Hold on. I could cry the state of that bedroom. So I've just took a couple of photos to show my daughter. I really could cry. And I'm just sending my daughter a message. So, anyway, how are you anyway, Nero? And you really asked you that last night. So, I hope everyone is fine. But I won't miss her. I like my space. I like my own space. You know what I mean? I always have. Ever since I moved up to Scotland. I've always lived on my own. I had my kids with me at first for from 2009 through to 2015, right? On and off, I had my kids living with me. And then once we moved up to 4-5, they lived with me for a year or so, 2 years maybe, and then they both moved out. So I moved into a smaller property because I was in a 3-bedroom, lovely house, 3-bedroom house, but I couldn't afford the rent on it on my own, not while I was working anyway. Even my wages wouldn't have covered the fucking rent. So I moved to a smaller property, flat, and I wasn't even there a year before I moved out, because then I moved back to Dundee in 2018. And then from Dundee, I was in Dundee from 2018 then up to when I moved down here to Glasgow to 2025. So, yeah, the kids go back Tuesday. I know. Right, so. Hold on, someone's just trying to get in.
Is that live? Hi.
Yeah, that's live.
Well, I just said hi.
My son just shouted through, is that live? I went, yeah, then. Hi.
Oh,
What's my doors?
stop.
What's my doors?
I'll come back to the table later.
Will you fuck be taking that table? They're after my fucking dining table. They can take a
I
height.
might pop in after work tomorrow.
Okay.
There's a good chance Tracy will be in Andy's house. So I'll get the house for her. I might see you getting on the way home.
Okay.
See you later.
See ya. Bye. Yeah, here you go.
Oh,
Get some rest. Yeah, maybe it's time to get some rest.
well, never mind.
Oh. That's it, they're gone. Hi Simon, he's gone. Yeah, that's it. She's staying at my, because they said, we're going to move the bed in tonight, Mum, move the bed out. I said, where's Angie going to sleep? Because you moved the sofa bed out, so where's she going to sleep at mine? Oh, she'll sleep at ours. Okay, no problem there. But, no, I could cry when I see that bedroom. I'll send you the photos later, you and Annie. You and Annie, I'll send you the 2 photos I've got. Because she said, once I've moved in, I'll come back and I'll clean up the room for you because I don't want to leave it in a mess. I went, yeah, okay. That's if I don't get in there before you. I'm going to be in there tomorrow morning on my hands and knees scrubbing the skirting boards. It's just a mess. Honest to God. I've just sent the photos to my daughter. I don't know if she's seen them yet. Don't know if she's replied. Oh, she's gone, oh, fuck. Yeah. So, once I'll be in there tomorrow morning. Vacuum first, get all the dust up. Then some damp warm water, cloths, disinfectant, do all the skirting boards and the walls. Because that is just, I'm just gutted. And I kept telling her, clean the bedroom up, clean your bedroom up, clean your bedroom up. She'd have bags down between her bedside unit and her bed, right, of rubbish. And then she'd take the bag out, 1 bag or 2 bags out every other week and throw it in the bin. You know what I mean? I thought, how can you do that to someone else's home? I'm glad there was no carpet down. I'm glad there was no carpet on that floor when she moved in. Right? Because I'd like to think what the carpet would be like now. And she's just moved into a lovely cottage like mine, same as mine. Nice carpet in there, all fitted through all the way through the hallway, the living room. Right? Nice lino down in the kitchen. Nice fitted kitchen unit in the kitchen. And I said, I hope you keep it clean then. Because if that bedroom's anything to go by, I can't see her keeping that house clean. She helped me maybe twice clean this living room. Twice in the whole 9 months she's been here. She's washed up. I can count on one hand how many times she's washed up in the 9 months that she's been here. She'd have plates in her bedroom, glasses, cups. But once I get in there and I clean it, boom. And once I go in there then and paint the walls and the ceiling, order the stuff off Amazon that I want for the walls. Because I'm putting this padding, like, because there's 2 outside walls to that bedroom. And the bunk beds are going against one of the outside walls. So I said, if I put this padding and it comes in a roll and it's sticky back stuff, right, put that on the walls. I haven't got to worry about painting them walls. And B, it'll add that little bit extra warmth when the kids are in the room. And then the floor, I'm putting like this insulation stuff down on the floor, right? And then I'm putting a thick lino, not a thick lino on top of that. And my son said, lino? I said, yeah. I said, I know what the kids are like. They drop the food down, they spill the drinks. Lino's easier to clean than carpet. If they spill it on one of the mats, I can throw it in the wash machine and wash it. I said, but I can't whip up carpet and wash that. So it's just going to have this really nice thick lino with insulation on underneath it, so that it'll be nice and warm on the feet as well. So I'm thinking of only painting one wall, because if I do these 3 walls with the insulation, even the inner wall, it means their head will be up against that wall. They won't be hitting the head off the wall and hurting themselves. Yeah, but yeah, it's full of grandkids. It's always full of grandkids. She was only supposed to be here for a few weeks until she moved into this other property, but then she lost that one. So she's been here for 9 months. But I've got to give it a good clean. And I mean a good clean. It's like I come back today, and where her sofa was, I mean, my living room needs vacuuming. And my son looked at me and said, I've got to go and vac my living room. So I've come home and I've vacuumed all that area where her sofa would be. Right, and cleaned all over there. I can't stand a mess. I really can't. And I used to say, how can you sleep in this room, Ange? How can you sleep in this room like this? It wasn't a big room. You know what I mean? So, and I said, just bring your cans out every morning and put them in the bin. Just bring them out every day. When you finish one can and you come out to get another can, bring that empty one out, throw it in the bin and get another can. And my daughter said, don't worry, Mum, we'll have that house sorted. Yeah. Yeah, on the 1st, well, I moved in on the 1st, 2nd, on the 5th of August. On the 5th of August, I actually moved in because I couldn't get down till, I left Dundee on the 4th, but we didn't get down here till midnight, turned midnight by the time I got to my daughter's. So we just got the blankets, got some PJs on and went to sleep. I got up the next morning and that's when I come into my cottage staying on the Friday morning, the 5th. So it has gone quick. But see, this year, I'm also, like, when I first moved in, I was spending a lot of time on the back garden trying to get the grass cut and all that lot, because that was so overgrown. And so we've got the grass down to a level now where I can manage it on my own. So I've got that sorted out. I've just got next month sometime, I'm getting a 6-seater table and chairs with the umbrella for the back garden. And then I'm also buying a barbecue, a nice big barbecue, so that when the kids are here, we can have a little we can cook some burgers and sausages or whatever they want on it. And I can have little family get-togethers of a barbecue. So this year I'll be able to do more in my garden than I did last year. So, my 2 cats. Yeah, I come back this afternoon because my grandson come tomorrow and I said the keys in the door. That's how safe this area is. I can leave my key in the door knowing no one's going to come in my house. Right? And he said, okay, Gran. So he's let himself in. Then he come back. I said, did you shut the door? Yes, Gran. I come back about half hour later. Bobby's sitting on the mat by the back door. I went, where's Toby? So I went, Toby. Toby come wandering down the garden and get in that house. Get in that house, you little fecker. So it'd be nice. It's like Susan, my daughter's, her partner's mum, who lives next door today. Right, she keeps, every time she sees me, She goes, how are you settling in? You settling in? And I just go, yeah, I'm settling in fine, thanks. But to be honest with you, I hadn't really settled in because there's always been someone else living here. Wow, 2 years for you. Wow, getting garden. I've seen this thing I want to buy. It's like a lot of money, but I'd love to buy it. But I don't think I'll be buying it this year. You know when you got your slabs down, right? You know the weeds that grow between the slabs, yeah? Well, I'm slowly going through my slabs and getting all them weeds up. Well, there's a machine you can buy, electric, and just run it along and it pulls them all up for you. That's what I want next year, right? But at the moment, I'm just enjoying doing my gardening, you know what I mean? Because I haven't had a garden since I left Birmingham. Well, tell a lie. No, I haven't had a garden since I left Birmingham because the house I was in before, it had a small garden, but it was all slabbed. And we had decking down, which took most of the garden up. So it was nice to sit out there in the summer when I wasn't working. But 9 times out of 10, I was working, so I didn't even enjoy my garden then. But yeah, it's a year in August I've been here. But now, and as my daughter said, now Angie's moved out, we can get on with doing what we want to do here. Right? Without Angie going, oh, I wouldn't have chose that colour. Oh, I wouldn't do that. Have you thought about doing this? You know what I mean? She likes all these dark colours. I don't. I don't like I like the colour plum, but I don't like it as on my living room wall. And there's like an emerald green in my bedroom. Now I could have put up with that emerald green, but then the people who lived here before thought, oh, I'll tell you what, we'll just roll a bit of paint on this wall, and we'll roll a bit of this emerald green on this wall. So I've got to paint those 2 walls. So I've got to paint at least 3 walls, if not 4. Right? The emerald green is okay. I can cope with that because it will go with my bedding and all that lot. And in the kids' room, oh, they decided, not just to paint the one wall pink. No. They decided to put a pink runner, paint a pink line, thick line, all the way around the ceiling. So now I've got to paint my ceiling. I'm thinking, you bastards. You know what I mean? Oh, can I email? Yeah, I'll email you the link when I find it. It's, where was I seeing? I think I seen it on TV. I'm sure I seen it on a TV ad. I'm not sure where I saw it now. Couldn't have been on my TV because I only watch YouTube. And I don't have ads on YouTube. So I don't know where I saw it. But I'll find it, and when I do, I'll send you the link. And it's, you just charge this big feck off battery, plug battery in. So it's cordless. So you just run along between the slabs and it rips all those weeds up. It took me, what? Day just to do the edging of my grass around the slabs. Up towards the back of my garden and along. Took me a day. And that was because I was having to do so much edging, then scrape it off, then do some more, then scrape it off. Because half the grass had grown over my slabs. Yeah, as soon as I find it, I'll have a look on Amazon. It's got to be on there. So I'll find the link. I'll find a link for one. I'll send it to you. But it's like 100 quid. I'm thinking, I could buy it this year. But I want to get my table and chairs. There's 150 quid. I want to get my barbecue and I'm looking like 100, 150 quid there. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking, I'm okay with what I've got at the moment, you know what I mean? Next year, I'll buy it. But this year, as long as I can get the weeds down and get it all cleaned up, I don't care. And at the moment, I've got my old washing machine sitting out in my back garden. Because first of all, Ryan, my daughter's partner, was going to take it. Right, so they put it in the back garden. Then my son said, oh, we're getting our old armchair picked up by the council. Do you want us to put your washing machine onto that list as well? I went, okay then, thanks. That was like 2 months ago. I thought, is anyone going to take this fucking washing machine? Because I want it out my garden. Yeah, I know what you mean. I want to build a gazebo. A wooden gazebo. I don't want curtains on it or any of them netting things on it. I just want a wooden gazebo thing where I can put some fairy lights up around it and get some ivy trailing up around it as well. To start getting some ivy trailing up it. And have my table and chairs under there because I'll have my umbrella with my table, so I don't need a cover on it. It'll just be nice to have this gazebo built and it'll be fitted onto my slab thing. So I don't think they have them round here, New. I know in Birmingham you could phone scrapmen up any day, but I don't think they have them round here. I'll have a look. I'll go on Google and I'll have a look. Anyway, enough about me. My garden needs a good sorting. But you see, Angie's lucky. She's just gone into a lovely bungalow. Don't need no work doing on it. Carpeted throughout. Carpet's about 2 years old, but it looks newer. Right? Lovely fitted kitchen, bedrooms, everything. And in the one bedroom, she's got this big wardrobe left there. Glass sliding doors wardrobe. Now that is big enough to put all her fucking clothes in. Honest to God. So I'm having her wooden wardrobe that she's going to leave here. Because the wardrobe I've got doesn't fit the coat hangers in properly. I can only use certain coat hangers. And then I'm going to get rid of that wardrobe as well. I'll take that apart and get someone to get rid of it for me. Take it down the skip. But, no, I just love going out my garden. I haven't had the motivation the past few days. But you know what? I think I will now because I'm here on my own. You know what I mean? I haven't got to worry about waking Angie up. 9 months she's been sleeping in that bedroom. 9 months. Those blinds and those curtains have been shut. 9 months. 9 months. I think they've been opened once by me and once by my son. But otherwise they've been shut. The blinds and the curtains have been shut for 9 months. Yeah, it did rain a bit today because I did think about doing some gardening today, and I can use my well, not my hover mower, but I can use my son's hover mower on it, on the grass, because it's not, it just takes off the top of the grass, you know what I mean? So I can use the hover mower on it even when it's rained. So I think tomorrow, after I've been on my hands and knees scrubbing that corner, right, unless they come here first to start moving stuff out. But I'm not having to move that fucking big unit of hers. They can go fuck themselves. My son's at work. I'm not moving that unit. Tracy and Angie can move that fucker. I don't know, but she's got something about, she said, oh, I hope they leave the blinds up in the living room. I went, why? So you can keep them shut all day. You know what I mean? And she's got blinds in the living room. She's got blinds in the bedrooms, right? And Simon said, if she wants to keep a blind shut in her bedroom, that's fine. She said, but there's no need to keep the one in the kids' room shut. I said, she will though. She will. Said, no, I said, I'm having blinds put up at the window. And curtains, new curtains going up. Everything is new going in there, in that room. Apart from the bunk beds, which was only brought, maybe a year before I moved out of that flat. If that. But they won't be going up for a while because I've got to get the walls painted. I've got to get it cleaned. And then I've got to get the walls painted. I've got to get the ceiling done. I've got to get all the walls with the padding on. Then I've got to do the flooring. And once I've done all that, then the bed can go in and then all their toys can go in there. But I took her air fryer around today so I could get my air fryer out and put my air fryer pride of place in the kitchen. Never been used. Brand new. So, yeah. But I've got quite a bit of work I'm doing on my front garden. So I might do that tomorrow. If the weather's nice, if it's not raining, I'll do that tomorrow. I'll cut it again. Because last time it's cut, my granddaughter done it. She did a good job. She done it. And I said, I need doing again. But I want it lowered. The hover mower lowered so it cuts a bit more off. So I'm going to do that. And then put these, like a little border around the corner bit. And then dig out by the window because it's all stones and whatever. No grass there. So I'm just going to dig that over. And then get some, that undulate stuff for the garden, that plastic stuff. Put some of that down and get some slate. And put slate there. And then I'm going to have slate go from the front door all the way around to the back door as well. Oh, there's a carnival in your village. Oh my God. Always the way when there's something nice, good going on. Always the way anyway. So, yeah, that's me now. I've got all these cushions sitting on my sofa that used to be spread over 2 sofas are all now sitting on my sofa. 8 cushions sitting on my... I don't know. Well, once I get me recliner chair as well, I'm getting this lovely recliner chair. Right. And it's a heated one. So if it's cold in the winter, you can hit the heat button and it warms your bum up. And it's also got a 9-position massaging points. I thought, yes, I'm buying that. And my son said, you getting in cream? I said, no, beige. I'm having it in cream, I'm having it in beige. But I'll have to keep a throw over the back of it. Because it's going by my window. And I know my fecking cat will go with the fecking claws on it. So if I put my throw over the back, they won't get my chair. They'll get my throw instead. And my son said, oh, that's just mine then. I went, you can bollocks. Pardon my French. I said, you can sit in it when you come and visit. I said, otherwise, it's my chair. He said, but you sit in your computer chair. I said, I don't allow anyone to sit in my chair but the kids. I said, because you and Angie both sat in that chair, rocking it back and forth like a fecking rocking chair. And it's not a rocking chair. It creaks now because of you and Angie's using it like a fecking rocking chair. So I banned them from sitting in it. Banned them. Yeah, it's heated and it has these 9-point positions through the chair. and you hit the massage, and it start massaging you. And I thought it'd be great for my arms because I get fluid build up in my arm and my wrist since I had the operation. It'd be great for my back. Oh yeah, get my back. And great for my legs. So I thought even if I only use 10 minutes massage before I go to bed every night, and 10 minutes in the morning when I first get up, just to get my old creaky bones moving a bit better. So that I'm getting, what month are we in? May. I'm getting that in June. Because this month I'm getting my table and chairs for my garden and my barbecue. So be good. And not only that, when like I can have a barbecue now. But I know if I invite Tracy and Simon, they're going to invite her mum. Right? But I don't have to worry about planning a barbecue around when Angie's working. Oh, Angie's working that Saturday. Tough. She's working. Well, I'm having a barbie, you know what I mean? Come along if you want. But she's working on it, you know what I mean? So, but we're with bliss. Just me and my two babies. But you can smell the damp in that bedroom. You can smell it. The damp. Where something's been spilt down her bed and there's damp in one corner. So that's what I mean, I could cry. Because there's damp and mould. You can smell it. And in my bathroom, I used to say, you know, when you put the bath on, can you open the window while you're running the bath? Because you're causing condensation up on my window. And I'm getting like black damp up on my window. I'll just wipe it down, it'll be okay. I said, it's damp, black mold, that's mold. Open the window when you're running the bath. Then when you get in the bath, shut the window by all means. Then when you get out of the bath, open it. Then if need be, just get a cloth, which is always there, wipe the walls down. So I've got to do all that as well. I'll be scrubbing in the bathroom tomorrow. If I'm not out in my garden, I'll be doing my bathroom tomorrow. Do you know, I even gave up cleaning that bathroom like I would normally. I've gone in and cleaned it, but normally I go in and I get my sieve and I get my cloths and I'm scrubbing my baths down, right? And my tiles down and my taps, and the taps are gleaming, right? Then I get my soap floor out and I spray all my bath and my taps and my sink and everything. And my taps come up shining. I gave up because Angie wouldn't clean the bath out after her. Every time I wanted the bath, I'd have to clean the bath. Yep. So I won't have that problem. Tomorrow I'm going in. That's it. I won't do the bedroom because there's still stuff got to come out of that bedroom. I'm going in that bathroom. I'm going to scrub that bathroom tomorrow. That's what I'll do tomorrow morning when I get up. Once I've had my coffee, get in that bathroom. Anyway, enough of me, enough of my problems at home. And a loose chair. Fucking arms on my chair are loose. That's where they've sat in it going back and forth like a fucking rocking chair. Fucking rocking chair, their head wrong down. Anyway, we are talking. Today I come across Nancy Grace. Yeah. Oh, it's not on the silicone. It's around the wall of the window. It's around like the window, the inset of the window. It's around there. It's because they wouldn't have the windows open when they had the bath on. And you go in there like a fucking sauna. I'm going, open the fucking window. Oh, you need to get Tam up here. That isn't right. I said, you know what Tam will tell me? Open the fucking window. If that's what she wants to do in her own bathroom now, then fine. But I hope not, because she's got a nice cottage. No work needs doing on it. Got really nice carpet in there, right? A nice kitchen. Lino down everywhere that needs to be down. Blinds. Alright, the bathroom. I didn't see what the bathroom. Oh, it's the shower and bath. That's it, shower and bath. Right. So so if she wants to wreck her bed bathroom like she's done mine, then that's up to her. Because I know she won't clean it because she's not cleaned my bathroom. I've gone in and cleaned it because I've wanted a bath. So I've had to clean it. I cleaned it after the kids have been in it. But she never did. So, ooh. But I'll send you some photos tomorrow. I'll take them on my phone and I'll send them you an email of the bedroom and the bathroom. Because I just gave up cleaning the bathroom. I'll go over with a cloth and my Febreze and whatever and clean the sides down and wipe the sink down, clean the bath when I was having a bath and things like that. But I gave up cleaning round by the window because it was pointless, because I gave it all nice and clean. Within a week, her not opening the window, it'll all be back again. So I gave up. But it's actually nice sitting here looking at my living room windows now because there's no sofa in the way. And I can see out my windows now, which is really, really nice. Yes, I'm going to have a recliner chair there soon, but it's not going to take up all my living room. Anyway, let's get on with what we're here for tonight. I was shocked when I heard this today. So I went and checked the list of the missing and the unalive. Those who are no longer with us. And these names are on that list. I think this list has been updated because something did come through today about that, some list being updated. So I don't know. So we're going to be listening to, and I'm going to where Nancy Grace is talking to this guy. Right? Where it tells you about these two other people. And I'm thinking, what the fuck is going on here? What is happening? Right? So, yeah, I'll take a photo of the bathroom. Right? Then I'll take a photo of the bathroom once I've finished in there. Because that's going to take me over now to clean that bathroom because of that window. Oh, God. But she's staying at my son's now till she moves into her house, into the house. Because she's got no bed here now. Or a bed sofa. It's all in her new house. So, we're going to listen to this, okay? Then this is, hold on, let me just put some up. Credit. Oh. Oh no, that's got to be changed. Okay. And away we go, everyone.
Nancy, we have two more names of scientists, military insiders who are now missing or dead. Two more to add to that list. these are some of the most amazing things we've seen yet. First of all, Matthew Sullivan, a 39-year-old former U.S. Air Force intelligence officer, and a 29-year-old NASA nuclear scientist, Joshua LeBlanc. Matthew Sullivan was scheduled to testify in a whistleblower hearing that was taking place on Capitol Hill. Think about it. A hearing for whistleblowers about UFOs and UFO intelligence within the military. And before he had a chance to testify at that whistleblower hearing, Matthew Sullivan, dead. The circumstances of his death are being questioned by many close to him, but he's gone. NASA nuclear engineer, 29-year-old Joshua LeBlanc, Huntsville, Alabama. Like many of those who have gone missing, Joshua LeBlanc, at 29 years old, was reported missing around 4:30 in the morning. He left his wallet, keys, phone, stuff like that at home, but he was gone, and his family couldn't find him. He didn't show up for work. They were concerned. All day long, Huntsville police were looking for Joshua LeBlanc. This nuclear scientist who was working on nuclear propulsion for NASA was missing all day. 2:45 that afternoon, a fiery crash involving Joshua LeBlanc's Tesla. The crash was so bad, he hit a guardrail, crashed into some trees. His body, not even identifiable for 3 days. When they finally got into the investigation, they were able to go into the Tesla Sentry mode and found out his vehicle, this Tesla, was parked at the Huntsville airport for 4 hours the morning he was reported missing. Just 4 hours. And then later on, dead. So 2 more odd to explain deaths in the mystery surrounding the scientists that have gone missing or dead recently.
Deep research into anti-gravity jet propulsion, into special alloys made.
See, this is why it's so weird. Like, that one guy was going to give evidence at the, what's the name, about the UFO thing and the whatever. And now the FBI are looking into it, apparently. But you see, there's other alphabet organisations that are higher than the FBI. And it's them who don't want this information getting out, in my opinion.
For high intensity heat called Mondelez, or ideas and theories that most of us have never imagined, that under their skill and expertise were actually coming true until they go missing or are found dead. 11 that we know of. Many of them
I just get the impression, like, with some of these women who've gone and died or gone missing, they've done all this work, right? They've done all this work, got all this together, right? And now, okay, we've got their work, we don't need them, sort of thing. And that's why they're going like they are. And I'm sorry, but I think if I was a scientist, I'd be digging a hole somewhere and living underground. You know what I mean? Because I would not like to be a scientist at the moment. Anywhere in the world. Anywhere. Especially when you're one of these top scientists and whatever. And people are saying about that Amy Eskridge. Apparently it's going off on X. I haven't seen anything. But apparently they're saying she's losing it anyway. She's going a bit psycho and all that. I think when you hear what she's gone through, I'd be a bit, oh dear, is someone watching me? You know what I mean? Should I go out to my shop? is it safe to go put my rubbish out? You know what I mean? So it just makes you wonder. Did they get the information they needed and then boom, we don't need them no more? Or, like with Amy Eskridge, is don't they want this information coming out because companies are going to lose a lot of money?
One, two, three, four to McCaslin, General Neil McCaslin, who oversaw funding and research, who was seeing over, commanding an entire Air Force base, but also was in charge of funding and overseeing research into many of these projects, joining us an all-star panel to make sense of what we are learning tonight. I want to go straight out to special guest joining us, Chris Malore, Deputy Science Editor for Daily Mail. What is happening? Many people thought that this was fantastical, but it's not. And now the FBI has joined the probe, and I would like to add, in stark departure from normal FBI tactics, which we saw out in the Nancy Guthrie case. Remember, the FBI did not enter into the investigation until they were invited by Sheriff Nanos, who took his sweet time doing it and screwed up the investigation. Here, they have jumped in feet first into the disappearance of General McCaslin, which opens up an entire can of worms into the other 10 scientists, and that's 10 that we know of, Chris Malore.
That's right, Nancy. Actually, this has been something that has been pushed by a lot on Capitol Hill. We've spoken to Congressman Eric Burleson and Tim Burchett at length, and they've been pushing for this investigation. A lot of the initial investigations were done by local police, and the congressmen have definitely pushed this into the forefront for a federal investigation as of late.
Many have been found dead. Many just simply disappear. And they disappear under very unusual circumstances. They are connected. That's where I start all criminal investigations, with connectivity. Is there anything linking them? And to you, Brian Fitzgibbons, joining us, Director of Operations, USPA Nationwide Security, who leads a team of investigators finding missing people, former Marine, Iraqi war vet. Brian, many people say these are not connected, but I, from over 1,000 miles away from where they went missing, have been able to connect 5 of them, 4 connected to General Neil McCaslin. Much happening out of the New Mexico jurisdiction, New Mexico and California. Listen to these connections and how the people went missing. Let's just start with Melissa Casillas, administrator at the Los Alamos National Laboratory and the AFRL. So you've got the Air Force Lab, the Air Force Research Lab, and Los Alamos Nuclear Lab. She worked there. She worked with Chavez, Los Alamos Nuclear Lab, and AFRL. Monica Jacinto Reza worked at the AFRL, Air Force Research Lab. General McCaslin oversaw, actually ran, commandeered the AFRL, including the funding, specifically Reza's project. Stephen Garcia, government contractor, built parts for nuclear weapons connected to the AFRL. Well, I can connect more, but listen to how Melissa Casillas goes missing. She takes her daughter a Subway sandwich for lunch. She says she's going to work from home. She is spotted on camera, surveillance cam, leaving around 2 p.m. in the afternoon there in New Mexico. She never went for a walk in the heat. She took no cell phone, no keys, no identifying objects. Never seen again. Walking briskly eastbound. A shoe that may belong to her was found in a canyon. Even though cadaver dogs and scent dogs were brought out, nothing. Then you've got Monica Jacinto-Riza.
Have you noticed something as well? An object, article of that last one, I can't think of the name, was found. An article of Monica Reza was found, her hat. And then there's another one where an article of his was found. But when they go there with the scent dogs, it's as though they've never been there. Right? So what, like my air fryer going off in the back. Right? They've never been there. The dogs don't know where they came into that area, where they left that area. There's no scent of them in that area where that item, like the hat and whatever, was found. Nothing. So it's like someone has put them items there to throw you off the track.
She got her thing from AFRL and she was jet propulsion. She is on a hike in the LA National Forest. She's with a friend, a female friend who's just ahead of her. The friend looks back. She waves and smiles. A few minutes later, she looks back. Monica's gone. Gone. An intense digital.
Exactly. They all leave their phones, anything that can be tracked. Like the phones, the watches, the cars, everything like that can be tracked is left behind. Why? Why? Monica here, she went out hiking that day with two friends. She says one, but there was two. Now, when she goes out hiking, she'd have something like a mobile phone on her, or a watch, a Fitbit watch, or something like that on her. Someone had a phone on them because they was taking photos of her that day. So, would she not have had her phone with her then, or a Fitbit watch or something? Because she was going out hiking with her two friends. One friend got so far and said, no, that's enough for me, I'm going back. So she went back. Reza and this other guy carried on. They get up to the top, they then turn round to come back. And he's in about 30 feet in front, he said. And he gets to this turn where they had to turn. He called her and she said, look, this is where we're turning. So she acknowledged him. He's carried on down. But then he stopped again and she's nowhere behind him. So he goes back to like where we last saw her. Nothing. He walks 100 some feet the other way. Right? Nothing. I'm sorry, as I said last night, if she fell, you'd hear a scream. Or you'd hear some rocks falling or something falling. Right? You'd hear something. But none of, and they can't trace her, they can't find her, she's not got no phone on her. I'm going to have to look into this because I think that I'd like to know if she had a phone on her or a Fitbit watch or something. Because she was going hiking with her friends. Now her friends would say, I'm I'd like to think if I was a hiker and I was going with my friends, I'd like to think they'd go, and have you got your watch on? You know what I mean? Because a lot of them like to wear their watches because they like to know how many steps they've done that day, how far up they went, the oxygen levels and all that. They like to keep track of all that. But there's nothing said about her phone or her watch. She's the only one where I haven't seen anything about her phone or watch. Right? Because she set out to go hiking. So it doesn't make sense how she could just go missing. Yes. It's like they put those items there, as I say. They'll find this. They're going to start looking around this area. We'll put them on a false trail. 2 hikers were walking up the track when Monica went missing. They helped search. They even told the one was a mountain search and rescuer guy. Something like that. And he said to that one guy, he said, go back down to the car and phone for help. Why didn't he have his phone on him? He must have had something on him because he was taking photos. So that doesn't make sense. So what was they using, a camera or a phone? Nowadays, they don't use cameras if they're just hiking. They just take the phone. So it looks staged where they put these things. It's all staged. That's all I'm saying on that.
Search and more. Nothing. In the space of 10 minutes, she's gone. McCaslin, General William Neal McCaslin, who oversaw funding, is at home. In the space of less than 1 hour, Fitzgibbons, he disappears. His wife sees him, a repairman sees him.
Ooh,
The wife leaves for a hair appointment around 11:04 a.m. She comes back around.
that's a good point, Neuro. Because those 3 photos were taken literally within feet of each other. Right? And then she goes missing. That is a good point. Yeah. It's a bit like Katie saying, well, he put the trash bin out, and you can tell it was him by the way he runs. FBI was able to clear it up. No. Because the FBI don't refer to that as his last sighting. His last sighting is Texas Roadhouse. So go fuck yourself, Katie. Anyway, I'm not talking about her. So, and this guy, apparently he left the home with no shoes on. The ground would be pretty hot that time of year. So to be walking barefoot in that area, you're going to blister your feet up. Plus there's fecking scorpions and God knows what else around that area. I think what I find more plausible is he wasn't planning on going out that day. Right? So he wouldn't have his watch on. He didn't have his phone with him. It's in the kitchen or wherever. Like if I'm not planning to go out, I'll put mine on my gooseneck here on my table. Right? And I think someone's come and knocked on his door. So whatever happened was said to him then by someone, whoever, if this did happen, he's gone and quickly got changed and left the house. But it's the fact that his wife said, I don't think he wants to be found. Why wouldn't he want to be found? Why would this general, this major, not want to be found? Yeah, as I was coming down, there was two hikers coming up, and one was a mountain rescue searcher. He was out just hiking that day, right? Her phone, Monica's didn't have her phone with, but surely she'd have had her watch with her if she was going hiking. You know what I mean? And why are all their phones fucking reset? You got Monica's phone reset. You've got oh god, I can't think of her name. The other woman who went missing, her phone was reset. Why are all their phones being reset? Actually, I wanted to look this up today, and I never did get a chance. I'm gonna go. If you reset your phone, can they still get info off it? Alright, let's have a look. Can data be recovered? This is Apple support community, right? And I should imagine they all had the best phones. Can data be retrieved after factory reset? Let's have a look. If you have a current backup of the phone that was completed before, you forgot the passcode, you can use a backup to restore the data back to your phone. But if you have no backup, there is unfortunately no data to restore. Oh. So, how did they get that information on Stefan Stern's off his phone? He did a factory reset twice. Oh, so bundle will be downloaded all to iCloud. So that's what makes me, because I said, surely they got all that information off his phone. You know what I mean? Because as soon as they found out that he'd reset his phone, that set them on high alert. So they was able to retrieve that information off his phone. So why can't they retrieve it off their phones? Oh, come on, you lot. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. There was no sense of him as well. I think someone come to his house and they said, look, we've got to get you out of here. We need you away from here. You know what I mean? Because it just doesn't make sense what is going on.
12:04 a.m. p.m. He's gone. He leaves without his cell phone, his keys, a smartwatch which would have identified him and tracked him. He leaves behind those prescription glasses you see him wearing. He takes nothing to identify him, but he does take a .38 and he's wearing a pair of hiking boots. Listen to this. Sometime later, a gray Air Force sweatshirt is found discarded by the side of the road. The only thing that would have identified him as being with the Air Force is found discarded. There's Steve Garcia. Again, goes for a walk and never comes back, leaving behind phone, watch, ID, you name it. How can these not be connected, Brian Fitzgibbons? And there's more.
You know, hey, there's a lack of obvious risk factors for a missing persons or a suicide case with all of these individuals that you've named. They have economic stability, government jobs with pensions. They have professional status, highly educated, highly influential in their fields, many of them. And then you add the caveat that they're connected, not loosely, but
I'll check that out, Nero.
intimately connected through Air Force research labs and specific projects within that research function. And then you add in the addition.
Oh my lord, I've just done myself some fries. Because I can't eat chips. For some reason, I just can't eat chips that much. So I have fries. And I've just put them on a plate with a bit of salt over them and some chicken on the side. Oh my god, these fries are gorgeous. The best I've had in an air fryer. I thought my air fryer was good, but this one's even better.
Caveat that a number of them have gone missing with the same circumstances, leaving Apple Watch and phone behind. This is highly alarming and ought to be investigated thoroughly by the FBI.
You know, what's interesting, Brian, is that I'm talking about the ones that are missing. The others are dead. A couple of them found submerged in bodies of water. Straight out to John Nance joining us, former supervisory special agent with the FBI for over 20 years. John, thank you for being with us tonight. John, why is it the FBI typically waits to be invited in on a local investigation? Why is that?
Well, the FBI doesn't have federal jurisdiction or primary jurisdiction in murder cases. There are some exceptions to that, but that's essentially why you don't see the FBI taking the lead role immediately of that nature. But when it comes to matters like this, especially with the McCaslin disappearance, I think this directly implicates national security issues. In the first part of my career, I spent as a counterintelligence agent, and I can tell you from that perspective, the correlations that we see here are extremely disturbing, and I'm sure that's why Patel's FBI has gone into overdrive with conducting investigations into these matters. Particularly interesting is Amy Eskridge's case and what Frank Milburn had to say with regard to her, the use of directed energy weapons, things of that nature. I think all these things are going to be looked at and analyzed with a fine-tooth comb, so to speak, by the FBI.
Their research, Mr. Nance, was so advanced, it's beyond what many of us can even imagine. Amy Eskridge, from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. This is after she texted friends saying, "If I am found dead, I did not commit suicide." She was working on anti-gravity jet propulsion, which is amazing. It's specifically, she was working with her father on an idea she wanted to present to NASA, and it dealt with a craft, an aircraft called TR-3B, T-Toy R-3B brother, a triangular craft, and with anti-gravity jet propulsion, that craft could go up, down, to either side, catty-cornered, diagonally, and at rapid rates of speed, unlike anything that we are familiar with, basically defying the laws of gravity. That's what anti-gravity jet propulsion is, and it can be used for a myriad of purposes. The other woman we are discussing, Monica Jacinto Reza, worked at AFRL. That's where she got her funding anyway. She was working on an amazing alloy, a metal that was highly heat resistant to be used on rockets called Mondelez. Many of us have never even heard of that. Now, you mentioned directed energy attacks. And I now know, since I've been investigating this, that a Russian agent was apprehended here in the U.S. in the 2020s with such a device. So this is no longer, in other words, it's like shooting a gun, except it's microwaves. Yes, something that many people only imagine is real. I didn't know that until I started investigating this. Could you describe what that is?
Well, sure. The stuff you're talking about is not science fiction. The triangular shaped craft that you're describing have been seen and reported about for decades. These individuals, Reza, for instance, was working at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, which is directly connected to General McCaslin. It's also directly connected to the UAP phenomenon that we've had several congressional hearings with regard to it. And wherever you fall or whether you come down on this issue, it is at its base level a government transparency issue. Eskridge, working on anti-gravity technology or filled propulsion technology would be paradigm shifting. So these technologies are, in many people's opinions, the result of crash retrieval programs. We've got, like I said, we've had several congressional hearings with regard to this. I've written several columns at Town Hall with regard to these matters. I've spoken to Representative Burchett about this matter. So we're not talking about science fiction. We're talking about science fact with regard to what these individuals were working on. The directed energy weapon that you have mentioned is a real weapon, obviously, and as Mr. Milburn has described very, very in very detailed fashion, it's essentially a microwave, a focused microwave energy beam that is capable of cooking you from the inside out. It'll penetrate through a window. It'll penetrate through drywall. So all these things taken together, it is a very serious national security threat. To go back to General McCaslin, he was responsible for managing the funding of 80% of the military's.
I'll tell you something though. They will bring a film out about this. They will. And they're going to have like 2 or 3 scientists on the run with these alphabet groups, organisations chasing them down and all this lot. Make a brilliant film. They're going to make a film out of this, I'll tell you. Give it about 5 years, if that, there'll be a film.
SAP programs, those are special access programs, which, as the name denotes, are access controls of some of the government's most highly classified information. And of course, his work at Wright-Patterson with regard to the Air Force's research and development program, I think that's like a $2 billion program he oversaw. So he's literally a walking hard drive of highly classified information. So the FBI is going to be very, very interested in determining what exactly has happened to him.
I've listened very, very carefully to his wife's 911 call, John Nance, and she said specifically, I don't think he wants to be found. I think he plans not to be found. I've noticed that none of the families want to speak out. It's almost as if they're afraid. You mentioned Frank Milburn, former British intelligence officer who knew Amy Eskridge very well, and he is joining us now. To the rest of the panel, please stay with us as I go to Mr. Milburn. Summertime expenses stacking up fast. For many, the only
Hold on, I'll just keep back.
disturbing information. First of all, tell me about your relationship with Amy.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, we met online. At first, I thought it was an anonymous account, and I thought it was a very amusing middle-aged scientist who was ranting about UFOs, but in a very, very intelligent and funny way. And then slowly we got in contact that way, and slowly she revealed to me who she was. And I realized, wow, this is a brilliant young scientist. And I did my background checks on her as well, because that's what I do. And then over the course of the year, we got to know each other extremely well.
So you were pen pals of sort for over a year.
Yes. Initially, we weren't talking about UFOs. We were talking about UFOs, but slowly, as she kind of, I got her confidence and she got my confidence. She started to tell me about the harassment and all the things that were happening to her, and also showing me the proof, showing me the videos and the photos and things like that. And also as well, she was, she'd be at work and she'd put me on a video with her co-workers as well, and they'd be telling me the same thing. So there's absolutely no doubt in my mind as to what was going on with her.
I want to talk very briefly about Amy's studies. Again, a brilliant scientist. Now, to my understanding, of course, I'm just a trial lawyer, she was studying anti-gravity. Is that correct? Anti-gravity propulsion.
She was interested, yes, in anti-gravity. She was interested in free energy, which is the extraction of energy from the ether in potentially unlimited amounts, which would obviously change the whole way, that we have and produce energy on Earth, and potentially would help, every poor country in the world. But it could also be, very dangerously used as a weapon. What she was actually working on when she was attacked with the directed energy weapon, that's been that was especially documented with videos, testimony, and other witness there. She was actually working for Homeland Security on a project which would defend US subways across the continental United States from chemical, bio, and radiological attack. So, across the board, she had a very interesting portfolio of things that she was interested in and working on. But, she was an American patriot.
Can I circle back to what you just said, Frank Milburn, that she was working with Homeland Security on methods to protect public transport in the U.S. Could you expand on that, please?
Yes, certainly. She and a colleague, they were approached. I actually sat in on a couple of the meetings with people, senior members from Homeland Security and from another agency that I'm not going to mention. Amy was there. A contact of mine was there who was ex-American Special Operations. And there was and one of her co-workers was there. And they were basically discussing with Homeland Security everything from directed energy weapon attacks. But the specific project that they were working on was to design a system whereby all the subways across the continental United States could be protected from biological, chemical, and radiological attack, a detection system, effectively.
Mr. Milburn, joining intelligence officer, and the reason I want you to tell us a little bit more about her project she was working on with Homeland Security is that many people, many naysayers are suggesting that she was somehow had mental or emotional problems. I find that very difficult to believe as a legal career that Homeland Security of any mental impairment. I find that very, if not impossible, difficult to believe. Now, Amy, 34 years old, had also been researching, as I first mentioned, anti-gravity, advanced technology with anti-gravity propulsion. And what is interesting about that to me is anti-gravity propulsion. When we think of aircraft, of any type, be it a plane, a helicopter, a rocket, are within.
Are they serious? Single day? In Area 51? Nah. Something's not right here, I'm sorry. You never hear of an earthquake in Area 51. Never. And now because they're on about releasing this information. Oh dear, we've had an earthquake. We've lost all this information. What a piece of ish. I'll watch them later because that is just... That's, I can't believe 17 earthquake. That building wouldn't be standing. Right? And don't forget, Area 51, it's not just on top of the ground, it's underneath. Right? They have worked, their units, all their stuff is underneath the ground. Oh my lord. I'm going to have to watch these. Watch earthquakes at Area 51 or government testing UFO researchers rising. Area 51. No one knows where Area 51 is. I'm just going to share this tab with you. Because this is just... Never have we ever heard of earthquakes in Area 51 before. But now, oh, look. All this information they want out and they're going to go and get it lost in the earthquake. Because the buildings have collapsing on each other and they can't get the information they want now. The hard drives are all damaged and the software is damaged and you name it. So Area 51 is between Las Vegas and Tonopah. "17 earthquakes. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about the people in Las Vegas and Tonopah. Those people. The ones who are going to lose their homes, their lives possibly. Things like that. In California. In Utah, is it? Is UT is Utah? Yeah, that is sus as hell. Hold on. So sus. Yeah. The scientists down there. And they are prepared to lose lives just so information doesn't get out. You'd hope they do backups, wouldn't you, Annie? But knowing them, oh, well, you see, even our backups have been damaged. Alabama, Huntsville. You know what I mean? It's Oh. It's a bit like the Epstein files. What they did to stop them coming out, it was unbelievable. They tried everything. And even then, they still didn't put all the information out. And if they did, they redacted it so bad you can't make out what they're trying to say or what was said. And if you try downloading it onto your laptop or onto a USB, as soon as you plug your USB back in, it clears it. And you've got nothing. I spent days downloading them files. Right, I went back into my USB. Nothing. Gone. So I thought, okay, I'll start again. So I started downloading. But this time I didn't leave my USB in. I used to keep taking it out at the end of each day. As soon as I put my USB in, it would clear it all. Well, I was watching that video, I think it was you sent me it today, of that guy, and he was talking about that country and that organisation over there, and I thought, I'm quite surprised you haven't had your channel shut down. You know what I mean? Because I thought, I'll play this tonight, but then when I heard him saying what he was reading out, I thought, no, I'm not playing that. Am I playing that on my live? No. But that's just 17 earthquakes. Not in Area 51, but near Area 51. So they get the tremors. But Las Vegas has had earthquakes before. And around that area has had earthquakes before. So why all of a sudden around Area 51? They were told Dolly the evidence is gone in earthquakes where Area 51, nothing there. It's all in Huntsville. Yeah. I can't believe some of these YouTubers are like talking about this country and these organisations and things. And you not got your channel shut down. I didn't do nothing. I didn't do nothing apart from drop the F-bomb. And then it took me 2 days before I could get my new channel up and running. Because they wouldn't let me open a new channel. So, but I've done it. And that's why I'm being a good girl now. Unless someone really pees me off. But that's unbelievable. So, right, let's go back. Well, what else was there? Oh, that was in an email, wasn't it? Yeah, we'll listen to what they say.
4.4 magnitude quake, just 2.5 miles underground. The area is normally not prone to earthquakes this shallow, and it's leading to theories of nuclear testing or even UFOs. Happened after President Trump said this.
Do you have an update on the UFO files and what we're going to be seeing?
Well, I think we're going to be releasing as much as we can in the near future. They want to find out about the UFOs and anything having to do with UFO or related material, and we're going to be releasing a lot of things that we have, and I think some of it's going to be very interesting.
Joining us now to respond, Dr. Stephen Greer, UFO researcher and retired physician. Great to see you, Doctor. So are these earthquakes just a version of burning the files at an embassy when people got to get out?
Well, yeah, the thing that lights up in my mind is that back in the 1990s, I briefed a man who worked and designed a security apparatus at some of the facilities out there, particularly the ones up near Groom Lake and Pahut Mesa. And he explained that on the top of those complexes underground were like bunker busting type bombs, but underneath them were thermonuclear devices, so that if anybody was getting close to those facilities, and by this, it could even be the legal government of the United States, they could collapse those facilities. No, I don't know that that's what happened, but I know for a fact those security systems are out there. So that's one consideration. Now, it could just be a cluster of earthquakes, or they could be doing some legitimate underground testing out in that region.
Yeah, there are a lot of mountains out there, so earthquakes are not out of the question. But we just heard President Trump promising disclosure. Mm-hmm. What does disclosure actually mean in your mind?
Well, I founded the disclosure movement at 25 years ago at the National Press Club event, where we had 20 top secret military and government people disclose their information. We're going to do another one on May 8th, coming up a week from Friday. And
why get released? If they get released, they're gonna dump. Just dump. You want the files? There they are. Boom. Like they did with Epstein. Thousands and thousands of files. And a bit, holy shit, where do we start? Where do you start? Right? And when I heard those on about releasing them, those files, the UFO ones, the Area 51 files and whatever, I went, those are one files I am not downloading. Not downloading. I'll have a read of them, but I will not be downloading them. I'll take notes from them, but I will not be downloading them. No way will I be downloading any of those fucking files. Right, so
what we have found is that the government, meaning the Constitution, pretty much left out of the loop on this 1950s. And this is why when I spoke to President Trump's former national security advisor,
you two are very special.
From his first term, they were never briefed on this. And I found this to be true all across government, both here and abroad. And yet the evidence is overwhelming that we're not alone, that there's a lot being kept secret, but the center of gravity of it is not in the government, it's in the corporations. My uncle spent his whole career with Northrop Grumman, so the large aerospace corporations are holding most of these secrets and run most of those facilities.
Why do you think they're holding the secrets? Is it because they just don't want us to free? The purpose of keeping it all behind closed doors?
That is so true. It's not a case of are there aliens? We know there is. We know that I've always said there's got to be another life form somewhere. Right? It's what do they want? And they've left us alone all these years. All these billions of years, they've left us alone. Right? So, why now? Why now? So, it just makes you wonder, doesn't it? Right, let's continue listening to this earthquake thing.
It's a government or a corporation that's a private company?
Well, I think there are two main reasons. The first is that the technologies of how those operate was figured out in the mid 1950s, what are called electromagnetic-gravitic systems or anti-gravity. The energy source is from the quantum vacuum or 0 point. We don't have time to go into that. And those being disclosed would eventually replace all oil, gas, coal in the world. and would also give us a completely cleaned environment, but also in poverty globally. And so there's been this debate for decades of when does this come out? When do we acknowledge these? Because there's no way you can acknowledge they're real and that there's been a reverse engineering program that's gone on for over 70 or 80 years and then say there's nothing that's come of that. I mean, the most brilliant scientific minds I've ever met work in covert programs related to this technology.
So we've been covering this story on the show and on the network. There's been this disappearance or deaths surrounding 12 or more scientists or people who work closely to government secrets, who had highly classified clearances, just walking into the desert, on a hike, disappearing with no trace. Based on what you've seen in the backgrounds of each of these different people on your screen, do you think that they're related in any way?
Well, they could be. Some of them may most certainly are. I think Mr. Sullivan and Amy Eskridge, who both were, one was going to come forward as a whistleblower and died, and the other one had technology related to what I just referred to, who was not suicidal, who was made to look like a suicide.
Yeah.
Now, whether all of them are related to this, I don't know. General McCaskill from Wright-Patterson Air Force Base may have disappeared himself, because I've been working with a team of people with U.S. law enforcement handing off whistleblowers. We have 760 of them now, which have implicated certain people in criminal activities, child trafficking, human trafficking using advanced UAPs.
Right. Have you heard from Mr. McCaskill or
no? I haven't.
Any of the folks who are missing?
No, none of these people. But we did a film that came out, a documentary a couple of years ago called The Lost Century. And The Lost Century documents that over the decades, many people have been killed related to this issue, and particularly the technology part of it.
Yeah.
Because, and frankly, I won't say which company, but there's a large government contractor who has a security officer that has been involved in targeted killings of certain people. Yeah.
Well, we will follow up. We will be watching this for sure. You'll 25th anniversary of this disclosure project next week. As you mentioned, we look forward to tuning in and learning more. Dr. Stephen Greer, thanks for joining us. Great to see you.
Thank you. Hope to see you.
Thank
you. That was that. So, yeah. Well, it started in 1952. That isn't awful. Could you imagine a film about these scientists going missing? You'd have so many scientists on the run in hiding. You know what I mean? While these alphabet organisations are out searching for them and hunting them down. All that lot. Yeah, we can't name that country. No, we can't. So, but what was the other ones that I wanted to show you? Hold on. Let's type. There's some others. Oh, then I wanted to talk about the Amy Eskridge. Right? And I've got this one, which is only 4 minutes long. Well, 4.5 minutes long. Alright, I'll share this with you. Delete that. Let's see. So let me share this with you. And when you listen to her, these 2 videos that I've got of her so far, you think she's losing the plot, you know what I mean? But I think if I was going through what she went through, I'd be losing the plot as well. So let's just make sure you can see this. Yes. And we're going to start it.
I was being physically surveilled by the following method. My ex-boyfriend and I realized that people had been breaking into our apartment while we were gone together in the same vehicle. And so like, I'm in the apartment, I'm about to go to work, and I'm like, why don't you take out the trash and scope out the parking lot and make sure it's okay before I go to work? So he goes out there and he's like, there's this weird fucking Lexus. It's like a silver Lexus. This is a shitty apartment. Like, why is there really nice Lexus in the parking lot? And it has tinted windows that are not street legal, like just totally dark, totally black tinted windows that are not possibly street legal. And so he comes back in and we're standing in our bedroom window looking at the Lexus and talking about it. And I say out loud, maybe we should walk over there later and take a picture of the license plate, because the Lexus is across the parking lot from us, but it's backed in, so you can't see the license plate. Within 2 minutes of me saying, hey, we should walk over there later and take a picture of the license plate,
10 years earlier,
we were still standing there at the window looking at it, talking about it. And an Eastern European looking motherfucker with a black beanie, dressed all in black, in his 50s or 60s, walked out of the apartment directly across from ours holding a license plate. And he opened the trunk of the Lexus and he took out some tools and he changed the license plate right in front of our fucking faces. And then he walked back to his apartment and he put the old license plate on the front patio and went inside, left it outside. And it was literally like, come get the license plate. I have more. I have more where this came from. Come get the license plate. And then after that, the Lexus started tailing me. And every time I saw the Lexus, it had a different license plate. It would be like Alabama plates, a different state plate. It would be random dealer plates, none of which were local, just like cardboard temporary dealer plates, none of which were any local dealers. Every time I saw it, it was different plates. It would follow me to the gas station to go get beer. I would go get beer at the gas station and that Lexus follows me. And even my ex called an Uber once. He called an Uber. The Lexus pulled out from the spot across the parking lot from our apartment, drove over to our apartment and said, hey, I'm your Uber here to pick you up. The license matched in the Uber app, but they didn't have an Uber sticker or a Lyft sticker. You can't drive Uber if you don't have an Uber sticker. He pulled out of his spot. He pulled out of his spot across from our apartment where he lived and drove over there to pick him up and said, hey, I'm your Uber here to pick you up. They changed the license plate right in front of our face. Like 60 seconds after I said, hey, we should go take a picture of that license plate. And they leave it on the patio, like, take it. We have more. Just take it. Like, I'm scared. I'm tired. I'm real tired. I need to disclose soon, man. I need to publish soon because it's like escalating. It's getting more and more aggressive. Like over the past, this has been going on for like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. And over the past 12 months, it's been like escalating, like more aggressive, more invasive, digging through my pantage, like digging through my underwear drawer and sexual threats over the past like 3 to 6 months. And now I'm like, fuck, I have to publish. Fuck, I have to publish because like, it's only going to get worse until I publish. There's no way out of this. There's no way out of this fucked up situation until I publish.
Right? Now, if she publishes, she knows she's gone. If she don't publish, you've got people intimidating her, harassing her, So she's stuck between two fucking hard rocks. She don't know which way to go. Should she publish? Should she disclose everything? Or should she just stay quiet? She knew what would happen. She knew what would happen. Right? Oh, that's the Law Lodge one. Right, now we go on. That's the Formula Night Law Lodge. Here's the other one. Right?
It's been independently other times. He said it has been suppressed every single fucking time. And he said, I don't think they're going to suppress it this time. He said, I think you're in the clear. He said they obviously know about you because I've had multiple, both protective and threatening interactions with various agency affiliations, whatever. He was like, if you haven't had a US government agent come to you and say, stop, shut the fuck up, stop, shut the fuck up. If that hasn't happened, they're going to let you do it. They're waiting. There are SSP motherfuckers that are fucking twiddling their thumbs. Like, is Amy not going to publish soon? Gah, we've been influencing this bitch forever. Doesn't she know we want her to publish? Jesus. Like, there's multiple people doing that right now. And on the other side of the fence, there's multiple parties looking at each other like, didn't we tell this bitch 3 years ago that we kill people for this? Is she not listening? What is she doing? She's still doing it? What? We told her we were going to kill her 3 years ago. So I have these two different scenarios floating constantly in my life where I have people being like, do it, do it, do it. You're the one, do it. And then I have multiple people being like, they're going to kill you. Don't do it. They're going to kill you.
Amy Eskridge was a 34-year-old scientist based in Huntsville, Alabama, commonly referred to as Rocket City, who co-founded the Institute for Exotic Science. She held degrees in chemistry and biology from the University of Alabama in Huntsville and pursued interdisciplinary work in electrical engineering, physics, plasma science, and experimental propulsion, including what she described as gravity modification or anti-gravity research. Let me expound it more for those who don't know what anti-gravity is. Anti-gravity, sometimes referred to as anti-grav or gravity modification, refers to the idea of creating a force or effect that opposes, reduces, cancels, or reverses the attractive pull of gravity. In simple terms, it's the concept of making something float, levitate, or move upward without using conventional methods like rockets, wings, propellers, or magnets. Amy gave public presentations on the topic in a 2018 talk for the Huntsville, Alabama L5 Society, and appeared in interviews discussing her ideas on advanced propulsion concepts that could challenge conventional physics.
We think we need independently funded research because when you're at a university or an academic institution and you want to work on this stuff and they say, oh no, that's fringe, you can't do that. Or you have a result that you want to publish and they say, oh no, that's crazy. And then so that suppresses a lot of publications that maybe are accurate, but they're perceived badly, and so professors are afraid to publish it. But if you have a privately funded research institution, you can just study whatever you want to, and you don't have to worry about tenure.
In a 2020 interview with Jeremy Rise, Amy stated her team had made progress on anti-gravity related work. She said, "We discovered anti-gravity, and our lives went to expletive and people started sabotaging us, and alleged prior independent discoveries of similar technology had been suppressed." She also mentioned receiving threats and being close to breakthroughs she feared publishing. She later died on the 11th of June, 2022, at her home in Huntsville from a single self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head, according to the local authorities. Local authorities and medical examiners ruled it a suicide. No detailed public investigative report or autopsy findings were released at the time, which has contributed to ongoing speculation. Her obituary described her as a genius who questioned conventional scientific wisdom. Months before her death, around May 13, 2022, Eskridge sent messages to associates expressing fear for her safety. One widely quoted text stated, "Is greater than, if you see any report that I killed myself, I most definitely did not." If you see any report that I overdosed, I most definitely did not. If you see any report that I killed anyone else, I most definitely did not. She also described harassment, including break-ins, anonymous threatening messages, phone hacking suspicions, and physical symptoms she attributed to a directed energy weapon, for instance, the burns on her hands. She shared photos of injuries with contacts and linked the targeting to her research. In interviews, she expressed paranoia about sabotage by contractors. In this message sent by Amy Eskridge at 8:25 a.m., she wrote, "Like, don't mention it to anyone, though, because I don't know who's doing it yet. It's the creepiest shit ever, but it could literally be anyone doing it. I don't know who it is. I'm not trying to report anything officially right now. I just want a web of people who are fully aware that I did not kill myself, because there is some protection to be had by multiple people knowing full well that you did not kill yourself. I'm not fucking walking outside in the dark, even if they send me anonymous messages taunting me too. I'm currently in a mode where I am not going to be at home alone. If my parents leave the house, I leave the house. I am not going to be here alone." She sent another one at 8:42 a.m. just 21 minutes later. She wrote, "I think I might know why this particular thing is happening right now, but I still can't quite be sure because I'm still not quite sure of who is doing it. It's just super creepy. The creepiest shit ever for me, which is saying a lot. It's just the same old shit, but like times 100. I think it's maybe happening because I just entered my next proposal and white paper writing phase recently for various domestic agencies, and it's the best shit I've ever written. I think that's why now. Attempt to drive me crazy with endless shit and try to relentlessly taunt me into killing myself or try to lure me outside before I send this newest shit to my Cole at DARPA or my program director at NASA. If they can successfully taunt me into killing myself tomorrow, my most recent best work ever would die with me. I think that is why. But can I tell any of these agencies that I am currently being aggressively taunted into killing myself right now, though? Nope, I can't. It would immediately disqualify me from obtaining any new security clearance in the future, the moment that it gets reported, which is maybe actually the whole point of the exercise. Taunt me into reported something that gets me bulk listed from clearances. That might be the point that would achieve their goal. I don't want it to be reported. I just want the people closest to me to be able to vouch for this happening later, if something were to happen." 15 minutes later, at 8:57 a.m., she sent another text. "I don't know. It was creepy enough for me to tell several other people. Like, hey, if anyone reports that I killed myself, I fucking did not. Some of them were like, yeah, I know. They did that to me. Yep. Someone is absolutely trying to taunt you into killing your elf. It's real. Just don't do it. With pretty nuanced advice on how to navigate it. That's absurd. It's fucking disturbing that I can report this current thing to my inner circle of scientists in the United States, and some of them are like, yep, that happened to me. They're gonna ask you to kill yourself and taunt you for a while about it. Just don't do it. Those guys are assholes. What the actual fuck? Who are these fucking pricks, and how common is this exactly? What the hell?" On May 19 at 2:51 a.m., she sent this message. "After the past 3 days of this being relentless and almost constant, my current best guess is that some United-based contracting group has been hired to attempt to harass me to death. My ex-CIA weapons guy on my team saw my hands when they were burned really badly a couple months ago, and he saw that window pane in person. He said he had built things like that, and that it was most likely an RF K-band emitter run by 5-car batteries strung together from inside an SUV. When I asked who would do something like that, and his honest answer was, I hate to tell you this, but it's most likely domestic, most likely a contractor who sees your IP as capable of eating their lunch. That seems like the worst case scenario to me." And she sent another one at 2:52 a.m., just a minute later. She wrote, "There's probably a pretty short list of U.S. contractors who would do something this dirty. Gave me Havana syndrome ahead of time just to make me think and tell people that it was Russia, maybe even." Frank Milburn, a former British Army paratrooper and UK Defence Intelligence officer, the author of papers on UFO topics, was in contact with Eskridge. He has publicly stated he does not believe her death was a suicide. Milburn claims she sought his help investigating the attacks, provided evidence of directed energy weapon DEW incidents, and that he submitted related information to Congress in 2023 during UAP-related discussions. He has described a pattern of psychological and physical intimidation aimed at discouraging her work. It's reported he spoke with her hours before her death.
Frank Milburn joins us now. Frank, thank you. Welcome to the show. Amy's father told News Nation there was nothing unusual.
Organisations, military defence and NASA and the spaceship things do if there was no scientists. If everyone said, you know what, I'm intelligent enough to do it. I'm intelligent enough to work this, but I'm not. I'm not doing it. I'd rather go and empty trash bins than do this job. Right? Because they know that once they've done what they've wanted and got the information out there that these people need, they're no longer needed. And that's what I think is happening. They're no longer needed. Get rid of them. We've got all the information we need off these people. And something just come into my head just a minute ago while listening to that. You know, I said how I think that these that have gone missing have bit the bullet and just done it. Took themselves off out of the circle and gone into hiding somewhere. Could they have been in contact with, say, the very first one who went missing? And then they've been in contact with others and gone, look, this is what you need to do. So they've done it and they've gone into hiding. And that's why they've took no phones, no watches, nothing. Yes, some are found unalived. But that's because they wasn't able to get out before it happened. You know what I mean? Because I'm waiting for the next one to come up. The one after McCasland. If anyone else comes up missing, then that will just confirm my thoughts, my views. That I think they've gone into some form of hiding. Because of maybe the threats, the harassment, intimidations, the people following them. They feel like they're losing their mind. And they're not. Chavez was the first to go missing. So, I think those have just gone missing. Especially like the general. You know what I mean? His disappearance doesn't make any sense. He retired. He wasn't even doing any work no more for them. He was retired. Right? So why now would he go missing? Why now would they need to take him out? In other words, why now? He's been retired for years. So why now? That's why I think they're just taking themselves and going. Not telling anyone. Going off like they're going for a hike. And then boom, they're gone. Because that Monica Reza, she don't make any sense to me. She's on a fucking hike. There's two people behind her coming up the mountain, so why they wouldn't have seen if she went back down? You know what I mean? There was no screams until about 2:30 in the afternoon, and we're talking 9:30 in the morning. Because that's the best time to go hiking, is in the morning, to get up to the mountain and get back down before the midday heat. Right? So you don't go hiking in the afternoon. Unless you're going about, 4 o'clock. 3, 4 o'clock when it starts to cool down again. But last one after my Castellan, an experienced Air Force pilot died in plane crash on the 22nd of April. But wasn't my Castellan this year? My Castellan was this year, 2026. But all his family got took out in that, didn't they? In that plane crash. His son worked at Huntsville in IT and other son at uni in Huntsville. Oh my lord. One way to take them all out in one go, isn't it? Something not right. It's like they don't want this information, whatever they're working on, to get out. That's why I think these that have gone missing on their own accord. Because where would Monica Reza go? How was she got off that mountain? Right, off that hike. Because as I said, there's 2 or 3 people coming up after them. Because they're seeing them. The guy's seeing them as he's going back down. When he was looking for Monica. So, they would have seen her if she'd gone back down. But then again, she'd have had to pass that man she was with to have got down there before him. So where did she go as she was coming down? Yeah, I know. I've been reading a lot. Lately, I've been watching a lot of this on my YouTube channels, on my TV. And I'm going, something's seriously not right here. And I think there's a lot of now scientists are worried. And I would be as well if I was a scientist in that field. So, and if I was the president, I'd be worried. Because he was going to do it in his first term that he did. But then he backed off and wouldn't release him. Because he was warned. He was warned then. So, it's just scary. Pritchard allegedly unalived his colleague, his wife, and himself. Yes, he unalived his wife. I believe he unalived his wife first. This is what I heard. This is the story I heard. I heard he unalived his wife, put her in the boot of the car, went over to his colleague's house, unalived him or her, put him in the boot of the car, drove the car then to some government building in a car park where the cameras were on him, opened the boot and shot himself. Yeah, them 3 worked at Huntsville, yeah. And that one who went missing. Oh, I can't think of her name. After she met up with her daughter and took a Subway sandwich or something. And then looked like she's going for a walk, a hike. Why would she be going for a hike or a walk when she's supposed to be at home, working from home? And even her husband at the time said he saw her pass when they went in the car park. She had to show him her pass card. He had to show his pass card to get into the car park. So what happened from the gates of that car park to when she pulled up? Because that's when she turned around and said, oh, I can't, I've left my pass card at home. I'll have to go back home. Oh, I'll just work from home. You know what I mean? And then she goes out on a hike. No, I think these that have gone missing have purposely took themselves out. And now in hiding somewhere. Because to not take a phone, a watch, and have their phones reset as well, that doesn't make sense. Does not make sense. Why all of them are leaving the phones and everything and then finding out their phones are all reset. And that one who went missing after she come home from work because she's going to work at home, her own personal phone and her work phone were both reset. So did they get a message on their phone come through first? Telling them, get out. You need to get out now. Right? And that's why then they reset their phones to delete all any messages like that maybe come through. Cassius. She was spotted wondering, but look. You know what I mean? They're making them out to be either psychopaths or high on drugs or medication or Alzheimer's or brain fog. He's got Alzheimer's. Fuck. If having brain fog is Alzheimer's, then I'm fucked. I'm fucked. See you in the nursing home. You know what I mean? Because I have brain fog every day. I've had brain fog since, I think, after having my last child. That's 33 years ago. So, and it's disgusting how they're making these scientists out to be ill or intoxicated or in some form or losing it completely, losing the plot. They're not losing the plot. They weren't intoxicated. They weren't suffering from Alzheimer's. They was going to get themselves out. They've been told to get out. They've got out. Perhaps the others were all told to get out, but never did. Perhaps they didn't take the warning. Right? Perhaps they didn't take the warning they was getting to get out. That Eskridge, Amy, she was warned 3 years ago. She should have listened and got out and gone into hiding. She'd still be alive. She'd be down as missing, but she'd still probably be alive. That's what I think they're doing. Yeah, it's classic. We know gaslighting. We hear it all the time in a lot of our cases, and the culprits gaslight us. Right, so it is classic gaslighting. It's like, oh, that was just psycho. That was losing it. And when you listen to some of her videos she's done near the end, you would think she was losing it. But if you was living somewhere and you seen some car, right, and then you seen someone come out and change their L plates, and then go back in the home, and then that car come over to yours, making out they're the Uber, and knowing that someone's been in your home while you've been out, it's like, are we being watched? I know that feeling, tell you why. Because when I lived in one house once, my kids were only babies at the time. My son was only 3, and I was pregnant. And I just had a baby. I just had D, right? Just after moving into that house. And when we first went to view this house, there's a bicycle in the living room. I thought, that's weird. I'll have to put that out in the back garden because that isn't my bike, it's going out in the back garden. When we went back, the day we moved in, We went back a couple of days later because my mum wanted to see this house. So we went back with my mum. And the bike was gone. Boom, gone. Okay, who's got keys to this house? No one should have keys to this house apart from the estate agent because it was let through an estate agent. Right? And then we found the dial phones. You know the dial phones? Landline phones? There you go. 999. Right? We found a phone. We plugged it in to see if it worked, if the line was live. And it was. I thought, oh, great, I'll just get onto the BT and get my name put onto it. Right? Well, we left the phone out by mistake. Oh, that was it. My dad had dropped us off. So we had to phone my dad up. So I said, use that phone. So we did. So he's come to pick us up. I've got the two little ones, Simon and Dee. Oh, no, just Simon at the time. I was pregnant with Dee at the time, sorry. And we got our bags, coats, and left the house locked up and went away. When we went back 2 days later to move in, the phone had gone. And I'm going, please tell me I'm not imagining this. First of all, the bike is gone. My husband said, yeah, I saw the bike, so I know. I went, and now the phone's gone. My mum said, yes, I saw the phone because the phone's your dad on it. I said, but the phone's gone. I said, but no one should have any keys apart from the estate agents. So I phoned them up, right? And I said, has anyone from the estate agents been in this property between this date and this date, right? And they went, no. Once you signed the tenancy and the lease and all that law, and you had the keys, we have not been back to that house. I said, well, who else has got keys? They said, no one, just us. I said, well, someone's got a set of keys. I said, because when we first came to view it, there was a bike in the living room. I said, do you remember that bike? She said, yeah. I said, well, when I came back after signing the tenancy and getting the keys, I came back with I can't remember. I came back for somewhere. I said, the bike had gone. She said, oh. I said, then we came back again with my mum. My dad dropped us off. And a couple of hours later, and while we was there, we found this phone, landline phone. So we just plugged it in to see if it worked. It did. I said, we even phoned my dad to come and pick us up. I said, we left the phone there on the floor. When I come back the other day, the phone's gone. She said, but no one's got any keys. I said, that's what you're telling me, but someone's got keys to this house. Someone has got keys to this house. And I went, oh. So I was very dubious in that house on my own. Very dubious. Like, I've got 2 young babies, you know what I mean? And someone's got keys to my house. And they can let themselves in. So I actually, because I wasn't sleeping. And I was pregnant and I wasn't sleeping. Not because I was pregnant, because I was just scared. So my husband went and got a locksmith and had new keys cut. Right? And then we took a second set of keys to the estate. And they said, why did you do that? I said, because someone's got keys and letting themselves into the house when we're not there. I said, how do we know they're not going to come in while we're in our bed? I said, so we've had the keys, the locks changed on the inner door because we had an outer door and then an inner door. And the back door. I said, I'm not paying rent on this property when I know someone else got keys, so I'm changed the locks. She went, okay. The inner door the outer door we just left. We didn't change the locks on that because we didn't really lock that door. We just pulled it to anyway. We never locked that door. But we always locked the inner door. But if someone had keys, who's saying they couldn't get in when I was upstairs with the keys, getting them to bed and whatever, when my husband was out one night, whatever. So yeah, we had these locks changed. I don't think they liked it because after that, a few months later, no, about 6 months later it was, we had guys standing outside the house watching us. And one day I was telling my sister about it, and her partner brought me and my two home. Because by then I'd had thingies. And he said, are those the guys standing outside your house? Are they all standing there? And I went, yep. He said, really? I said, yeah. So he said, right. So I got out the car, got the kids out, crossed over the road. And as I'm walking down, he's driving down. And as he's got to my house, he stopped the car and he said, excuse me, can I help you? He said, that's my sister-in-law's house there. My sister-in-law lives there. Well, just wait for someone. He said, well, feck off down the road and wait for him then. He said, because this is not the first time you've stood outside this house intimidating my sister-in-law. It's because I changed the locks on the door and they couldn't get in. Oh, God. So I know what it's like to feel, and you do get a bit paranoid. Are they watching you? You know what I mean? I'd go to bed on the night time, I'd look out my bedroom window because it looked out to the street. And my husband would go, what are you doing? I'd go, just see if anyone's out there. And I'd have the lights off. And he'd go, but you can't see anything. I said, no, they can't see it. They might just see a shadow, if anything. They won't know it's me. And I literally stood right by the edge of the window, peering through the nets, in case anyone, you know what I mean? But I only see, it done my head in, and I moved out of there. I think we was there, was we there a year? No, we was there about 9 months, and then we moved out. Because I couldn't take it no more. I've got 2 babies by then. You know what I mean? I still was not sleeping, not because my little one wasn't sleeping, because I couldn't sleep. I'd sleep with my 2 kids. I'd go to bed, and Simon would wake up. I'll go and settle him down, right? And he was in the cot in his bedroom when she was very little, because he used to have the cot in there, and I used to just place a carry cot inside the cot, because someone said that way they get used to the cot being around them. When they look out, they see the cot. So I used to put the carry cot inside the big cot. And I'd go, I'll go and settle Simon down. And I'd go and sleep in his bed with him, with both the kids in the room. Even when I went to my sister's house and was house sitting, she got 4 bedrooms, right? 4 bedrooms. Me and my sister both slept in one room with the 2 kids. Denise was only a baby still, so we had her in she's still only very small. She was only a few months old, so she was in the carry cot sort of thing, and she'd be by the side of me, and then I'd be in a single bed with my son. That's how paranoid I was. And my husband thought having that week away would help. It didn't. It didn't. So, but I feel bad for Amy because a lot of people are saying, oh, well, she's freaked out, she lost it, I'm not surprised if she did get a bit paranoid about things, you know what I mean? I'm not surprised, but by saying, I don't believe anyone if you hear that, if anything happens to me, I did not kill anyone, I did not do this, I did not do that, I did not unalive myself. She knew what was going to happen. She knew. And that's why she sent them messages out. which is a shame because she's only young. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you something. Before me and my husband split up, right? This is how open me and my husband were. My phone rang and it was on the table. He would pick it up and answer it. If his phone rang, if he was in the bathroom, I'd pick it up and answer it. Right? It wasn't, what you doing answering my phone? What you doing picking my phone up? It wasn't nothing like that. It was, you know what I mean? Well, one day he's in the bathroom and his phone rang. So I picked it up. I rang, hello, Vincent's phone. And no answer. I'm going, hello. It's Angela, Vincent's wife. Anyone there? No answer. And so I terminate the call. And this went on for a few weeks. And I even said to Vince, I said, is that your mum phoning you? And because I'm answering your phone, she's not saying anything. I said, because that's the sort of thing his mum would do. If I answered his phone, she wouldn't acknowledge me. If she phoned up on the house phone, she'd hang up. Right? And like, no, that's my mum. She said, it's not her. I said, well, who the hell is it then, Vince? I said, because every time I answer that phone, unless it's someone we know, and they say, hi, it's me, or whatever. But every so often, I get a dead call. It cuts off. But then, 5 minutes later, when you come out of the bathroom, your phone rings again, you answer it, and you're talking away. So I said, it's either your mum or you've got someone on the side. So who is he? I think it was his mum. Because she was like that. Wow. Because of his mum, we had a house phone when we lived in Birmingham, up in King's Norton. And because she would phone me up and have a go at me over the phone, and I was standing there going, what the fuck's she talking about? Right? And then she hung up on me. I go, for fuck's sake. And one day my neighbour was saying, I have the phone out, she could hear her going, on the phone at me. And she's going, what have you done? I'm like, I don't know. What? I don't know what I've done, I said. And then all of a sudden you hear the phone hang up. Boom. And so when we moved from where we was to the house, I did not have a landline put in. My husband wanted one. I said, no. I said, we're not having a landline. So then I had to go and buy a phone because the school couldn't get in touch with me. I had them down contact numbers from my mum and dad, right? So I went and bought myself a mobile phone. I said, I will give you this number, Vincent, but if you give this number to your mum, I will break every fucking finger of the hand. I said, I do not want your mum phoning me on this phone. I have my number, nothing. If she wants a phone number, go and buy yourself a mobile. She can have your phone number. She's not having mine. What did the little fucker go and do? Yeah, give his mum my phone number. Because she phoned me up and go, hi, Angela, it's Vincent there. And I'm like, hold on. I put the phone, so it was against me, so it was muffling. I went, how the fuck did she get my number? I mean, he looked at me and went, tell your mum now. Speak to your mum and tell her not to phone again. Right? So I gave him the phone and I walked away. Then he hung up a few minutes later. I went, where's your hand? He said, why? I said, which hand? I said, Yangy, give me any hand. Yeah, okay. I went, ooh. Smacked his hand was on the cabinet, I went right down on his fucking fingers. Ow, you bitches. What you fucking doing that for? I said, I told you I'd break your fingers. You're lucky I didn't. I said, he said, I can give my mum the number. I said, oh, so she just magically got my phone number out thin air. You gave her my number after I asked you not to. Well, how is she supposed to contact me? Buy yourself a mobile phone then. Well, we could get a landline. No, we're not getting a landline. After the aggro I had off your mum before. No. Get yourself a mobile phone. I've gone out and bought myself one. I brought it for the school to contact me if anything happens with the kids. So that my mum and dad don't have to keep running over here. That's the only reason I brought that phone for. Not for your fucking mother to be phoning me. But I bruised all his hand because he put his hand down with his palm facing up. And I went, ooh, right down on his fingers and it bruised all his hand. So, no, I won't have a landline. My son's got a landline. I think he's got a landline phone. I can't see the point because my son lives 30 seconds across the road. My daughter lives 1 minute down the road. His mum, my son's mother-in-law lives the third house up. You know what I mean? I don't need to have a landline. They don't even use my mobile. So, anyway, I'm going to leave it at that, everyone, because this case is just getting weirder. And I do feel sorry for Amy Eskridge. But the next one I'll do, is it Friday today, isn't it? I'll be back Monday. So the next one Reza, Monica Reza. Alright. So until then, thank you for being here. Thank you to my Marks Neuro and Annie. Thank you. And have a lovely weekend. Hope it's lovely so we can get out in our gardens and just either sit there and watch the weeds grow bigger or sit there and do some gardening. So thanks very much for everyone. If you're watching on replay and you got to here, please give us a like. And I will see you all on Monday. Until then, take care. Yeah, the plot thickens. Till then, take care. And have a lovely weekend.
No, I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up. No, I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up. No, I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're with my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains that last.